You know what I could really go for right now? Literally anything that comes in a McDonald's carton, wrapper, or bag. Or a McDonald's cup. Yes, any of those items should do it.
We've got your cravings covered. Now stop in for the flaky Filet-O-Fish, the crispy snack wrap, or large fries for just $2.99. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. Another checkered flag for the books. Time to celebrate with Chumba. Jump in at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. CT&Cs. 21 plus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
He's an old head.
Youngins are really starting to get on my damn nerves.
He's a purveyor of nonsense. He's a Georgia high school coaching job influencer. His favorite Bible verse is, Jesus wept. He's the man of constant sorrow, Chris Lamb.
Yeah.
Welcome to Son Coaches Podcast, and today I've got a guy that I worked for years ago. He's one of the few people these days that's an administrator that's an old ball coach. He's from Baxley, Georgia, where he played high school football. He went on and played a little college football. He's been a head football coach, and now he's the principal at Temple High School. Coach Seth Rogers, thanks for being with me today.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good to be on. I'm excited to just be able to talk with you and catch up with you.
Yeah, it's been a while. We were talking before we came on and doing all that, and it seems like nothing. It seems like we just left each other yesterday. You know?
Some things never change.
No, it don't. As the kids have gotten older, and we've gotten a little bit more white-headed, but that's about it.
Ain't no doubt. But Coach, you were always white-headed, man. Like, I don't know how much how much more you can get.
Well, at least it hadn't turned loose. I can turn it whatever color I want to turn it. You know. So when you played at Appling County, was Coach Pennington your head coach?
Yeah, he was, Coach, and I tell people all the time, growing up, you got those people in your life that just had a huge role in who you become and kind of molded you and guided you. And as a teenage boy, I mean, you and I are very close in age, and there was a lot to get into in Baxley, Georgia, if you wasn't doing right. And, I just think the world of him and him pouring into me and taking time with me. So he's one of the good ones for sure.
So Steve Pennington was your head coach. Who was y'all's DC when you were there?
It was what Coach Pennington called defense, but Roy Starling was our D-line coach. That he, Coach Starling was a trip. He would lose his voice about 0.2 seconds into camp and didn't have it till Christmas. He was one of those just hard-nosed, run to the football, and we're going to do this, and we're going to be more physical, and just another one of those guys that, did it the right way and loved on kids and expected the best. So those were really two guys that, again, just poured into me. And it's funny because my first job out of college, I ended up in Jefferson County, and Ken Hildebrandt was our offensive line coach at the time there at Appling. Probably one of the best offensive line coaches in the state of Georgia. And he was my assistant principal at Louisville Middle. And, Coach, I'll never forget, it was my second year there and Ken's first year as assistant principal. And he put me in ISS. So, I was running ISS for the next 2 years there. And first day of school, we walked around with forms, and he'd just point out kids. You see that kid? Yep, give him that form. Well, it was paddling forms. So that was our first week of school. And so he'd tell the kid, like, Johnny, you don't bring this form back tomorrow, I'm going to get you anyway. So, like, I'm telling you, the whole first week of school, I would just walk around handing out these permission forms to get paddled. So it was a different time, to say the least. And not only that, but just to see him walking around with those paddling foot. Hey, Seth, give it. I don't like the way he looks. Give him that for him because you know he's going to be in trouble. So, it was a good introduction.
So you came out of high school. You went and played a little college football, didn't you?
Yeah, I went up to Middle Georgia, realized real quick that them guys were way better than I was, and I'd had a knee injury. Really, I got it in my senior year, and like I said, everybody was bigger, faster, and stronger than I was, and injured it again. But it was a funny story. During that time, I used to watch film with the linebacker coach over there. He was our dorm director, and he was the only holdover on the staff when Dennis Rowland left. And so I learned how to break down film and did all that with him. They hired Randy Pippen in there, and so Coach Stokes, Shane Stokes, he's actually from Cochran, still lives there. But Shane was like, "Hey, I want you to meet Coach Pippen. He's just wanting some guys maybe come and, be around, whether it's a manager or sit in meetings, anybody's interested." So he set me up a meeting to meet with Coach Pippen. It was 5:00 in the morning, and I rolled up in there and just met with Coach for about 45 minutes. He said, "Look, I want you to come out." And, we talked ball and all those different things. He said, "I want you to help in the spring. You can be like a student assistant." I said, "Hey, I can do that," because I was graduating. And I said, "Okay, I can do that." And I was going to go to Georgia Southern in the fall, and slid me his keys across the desk and said, "I need you to go to Atlanta and pick up," I can't even remember the guy's name. It's my offensive coordinator, because Coach Pippen came from Trinity Valley out in Texas, won the national championship out there. Now, Coach, here I am. It's 5:45, 6:00 in the morning. He slid his keys for me to go to the airport. Now, I'd driven in Atlanta once. All right. And
we didn't have cell phones with GPS back then.
There wasn't no cell phones. And first thing this, well, let me see if there's a map. No map. So here I go, and I drive to Atlanta. Figured it out, obviously. Picked up Coach, got back, and then, went through the spring. And at the end of spring, he had me working with the tight ends. At the end of spring, he's like, "Look, I want you to stick around. We can work it out where you can live and do all the things." So I stuck around and drove back and forth to Bruton Parker. And they gave me, give me his car. I'd drive. I'd take classes in the evening. And best thing I ever did, because I got connected with people. I did that for I think it was 3 full seasons. And then we were all going to go to West Alabama because Coach got the job out at West Al. So I go out to West Alabama and realized real quick I didn't want to live in Livingston, Alabama. Came back, and our D-line coach had gotten a job at Jefferson County and asked me to go. And that's kind of how I broke into high school ball. And I was up there with Coach Arnold for 3 years, met, one of my closest friends, Jason Strickland. Ware County, Fitzgerald, Lamar, had been all over the place and won everywhere he's went. And it's kind of like you and I were talking about before. This business is all about relationships. And I was actually texting with Strick last week, just checking in on him. And so and I tell people this all the time. I tell teachers that work for me, I tell coaches, I tell kids, everything I've ever done in my life, I've owed to football. Just about every dollar I've made in my life has to do with football. And so I see the value in ball. I see the value in coaches. I see the value in relationships. Now, a lot of that has changed, obviously, and I'm sure you and I can get into that in a little bit. But just the foundation of who I am and the people that I've surrounded myself with and have helped make me who I am is because of that oblong ball. So
you and Strick, I remember when we first met and I started working for you, and you were telling me about how y'all's wives were best friends. Y'all were best friends. I mean, y'all were just and stuff y'all get into at Jefferson County working for Coach Arnold? I mean, y'all like cut your teeth together.
No, we were straight fools. And look, this is no lie. So from the time me and Jason hooked up there, I mean, we were together all the time, and I wasn't married at the time. I hadn't even started dating my wife at that time, and
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. Game night's fun until someone spends 5 minutes lining up one shot. Chalk, breathe, re-chalk, still aiming. While they figure it out, I fire up Chumba Casino. I can spin anywhere, anytime, and there's always a new social casino game every week. Spins happen way faster than that shot. Play now at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
So we get up there, and this coach, this tells you. So every Saturday night we'd get together and we'd cook something or whatever. And he and I would throw darts all night. I mean, all night. Listening to classic country jukebox out of Augusta.
WTHO.
WTHO. And so we throw darts all night. And there was one Saturday in particular, and we'd watch ball all day Saturday and do all the things. And we were going to do a low country bowl. We'd invited the whole coaching staff. We were locked in. And nobody showed up. It was just me and Strick. And I ate so much I probably thought I was going to die that night. But, we went through all that, and I'll never forget, like we were – it was the week of 9/11. Obviously, everybody remembers where they were at, but they canceled all the games. I thought we were supposed to play Hancock County that week, Sparta. And so there we are. We listened to classic country jukebox, and me and Jason, we'd done decided we were driving to New York. We were going to carry a bucket. We're going to be in a line doing something with a bucket. And this old man calls in, and the man starts crying. We got to turn the whole deal over there into a glass factory. And can you play Hello Wall? And that just stuck with me for, ever. But yeah, Jason and I, we had a good time, man. We were always getting into stuff and, just acting like idiots. JB, I think, wanted to fire me one night because I told you I was in end school, so I broke down film all week. That's what I did. We went to Perry. We were down to our third string quarterback. Our first string quarterback had gotten hurt. Our second string quarterback. Now look, he could spin it. Well, he don't show up to the school on Thursday. And so Strick goes to the house like, hey, Chris, what's going on? Coach, I don't feel good. You run food? No. You do? No. So we ended up playing a kid that had never played football, Coach. He was a second baseman for the baseball team. Played for Mark Etheridge, who's another good one down there. And so we put in about 2 pass plays. We probably threw it 30-something times. Should have won the game. We ended up losing the game like 20-14. But Sunshine, a little red-headed kid, he probably threw for 200 yards. But I'm up in the stands, and I'm talking to JB. All right, they're in this. They're going to run. You know how it is. You break them down. You've watched them all week. You know what they're going to run. And I look down, and I'm talking, Coach Arnold's got his headset off. And I commenced fussing and cussing. And me and Strick are in the visiting stands. All right? There was no press box on the visiting side, so we're just up in the stands. And about 10 people went to Perry from Louisville. And I'm just raising teetotal cane. And I hear, you got something to say? And I was like, well, that's it, boys. I'm fired. Got my butt chewed at halftime, and needless to say, I never rant and raved in the headset again. I'd always take it off if I had to do that. So
where'd you go to after that?
So when I left Louisville, well, to go back, Jason's wife, Michelle, she actually introduced me to Courtney. I think it was because she was tired of me being at her house all the time. And then we ended up getting married.
And Courtney's not from around here.
No, she's from Pittsburgh and wanted to teach. And up there, you got a sub for a year or 2 years before you can get into school. And they used to vacation down in Florida, so they'd stop in Savannah. Well, she just loved Georgia. And her first interview was Jefferson County. She didn't know nothing about it. She took the job, moved down here, and luckily for me, she did. But so with that being said, we wanted to get a little closer to the airport because it was a 3-hour ride for us. And so started calling around, and there was a job actually at Temple High School. And the only reason I knew, I'd never heard of Temple. But in high school, DT, David Thrower was my rec director when I was in high school, gave me my first job. And, I worked for the rec department. Well, DT left. His first coaching job was Temple High School. And so I called DT, who I've known since I was a little boy. He and my uncle were actually college roommates. And, so he's telling me about Temple and all those different things. And so I came up and talked to Coach Wild. Marty Wild was here at the time, and interviewed and got the job. And we've been in Carroll ever since. That was, gosh, Coach, that was 21, 22 years ago. And, was here as an assistant, and Coach Wild left right before the season started, and I got the interim job and was lucky enough to get the head coaching job. That's where you and I kind of hooked up, and my career's been here ever since. I had a stop in Villa Rica for 7 years, and I'm back here. It's my first year back as the principal here this year.
Well, that's awesome. I know Courtney's related to some football coaches, is she not?
Yeah, she is. So, her uncle is Sal Sinceri, and Sal played at University of Pittsburgh. He was an All-American. Coach bounced all over, coaching football, and ended up, he had been at Michigan State. He was at LSU for a while, ended up in Carolina with the Panthers. He was there with John Fox, and which is a crazy story because, Courtney was little. She used to babysit for John Fox and all those guys. And, like we'd be at her grandma's house at Christmas and the phone would ring, and, our grandma, we called her Bubba. And well, you just got to know, my wife is from a big Italian family, and, Bubba's like, oh, Danny's on the phone, Danny, da-da-da. And I'm thinking, who is this? Like, there's 40 people in the house. Well, it was Dan Marino. So, they were tied in, and so then, Sal ended up at Alabama with Coach Saban, and I was fortunate enough to be able to go to a lot of practices over there and hang out with those guys, and it was a unique experience, to say the least. And then, Sal bounced around, went to Tennessee, was defensive coordinator for Derek Dooley, and that was a good story because I'd been at Alabama. It was the year they played LSU. It was that 10-9 game. We were there, and they ended up playing for the national championship again. And so it was the closest family Courtney had, so we would always go over, and it was crazy. I got over there, went to practice. Well, when Coach Saban bring the kids up, you had to leave. So, they so I was like, here's the code, you go up in my office. So I'm up there hanging out. And he always had Copenhagen. So I go in the office, and there's like, Coach, this ain't lying. It was just boxes, like Amazon boxes of just Copenhagen everywhere, unopened. I was like, golly, man, this is the life. So go down, and I was going to eat dinner with the coaches that night. And so I get down there, and there's a guy, Derek Crudup. He was a GA there. Well, he was Rhett Parson, coached with him over at Newton County. And so I'm talking to DC. I'm sitting with Sal. Kirby's sitting there. Glenn Schumann, who's at Georgia, he was a GA when I first started going over there. Young buck. And so we're sitting around. And that was the year we ended up making the playoffs and had to go play Buford in the first round, which was lovely. And so we're talking about Dylan Lee. And so, and that just kind of tells you what kind of mind Kirby Smart has. He's like, oh, Temple, y'all played, blah, blah, blah. And yeah. So, long story short, the player personnel guy comes in, is like, Coach Saban wants you back in your offices in 15, 30 minutes, something like that.
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. Another checkered flag for the books. Time to celebrate with Chumba. Jump in at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. CT&Cs. 21 plus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
Well, those guys, like Sal, been going in at 5 o'clock, getting ready for a nice championship game. And Kirby throws that hood up, and he says a bunch of cuss words. And everybody's just kind of looking, like, I ain't, working, la, 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 la. And he starts laughing, they all start cracking up. But I was like, holy crap, is this dude for real? But it was a great experience, and I was fortunate because, Sal's boy, Vinny, played at Alabama and ended up in the league. His other son, Tino, was quarterback at Pitt. He's the co-OC at Indiana now. Vinny was with the Patriots, coaching for the Patriots. He just took a job at University of Washington coaching safety. So it was fun growing up, or I say growing up, but being around that kind of stuff in my coaching career. It was just a unique experience and, something I was thankful for. So a lot better football coaches and players than me. I can assure you of that. So,
well, speaking of unique experiences, Temple High School is a unique place. and since I got rifted to Villa Rica. Yeah. When they had a big reduction in force, and that Carroll County used the point system, and I was head baseball coach, so I got points for that. I had a master's at the time. I hadn't got my 6th year yet. I got points for that. I was a coordinator. I got points for that. So anyway, they were like, okay, well, you got a job. We're just going to send you somewhere else because we don't have a slot. So I go off, but in my year there, ooh-wee, as you used to say all the time. And y'all, Seth was the self-contained special education teacher and head football coach.
Was. Yeah, get you. They don't make many of those, do they?
No, negative. And I've told people, like, my current head coach, we ran into Steve Robinson at the recruiting fair this year, and me and him were bouncing stories back and forth, and my head coach is sitting there listening, and when we walked off, he went, all them stories you told me were true. I'm like, yeah. I mean, dude. And Steve was like, man, I was there for 11 years. Lamb was just there for 1 year. I mean, imagine dealing with that crap all the time. Because he was like, he's like, did you tell him that you coached Doug Stone's stepson?
That's right.
I was like,
that's right.
Yeah, Doug Stone's stepson. I was like, we used to go to Doug Stone's house and hang out. And he's like, Doug Stone, yeah, better off in a pine box, Doug Stone. Yeah.
Come in out of the rain, come in out of the pain, or whatever.
Yeah, I see you in a different light. That Doug Stone.
Yeah.
That guy lived across the street from Donna Cheek.
That's right. That's right. And old Ricky Anderson had built a stage out in the backyard. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And Doug would play out there. And
I was like, his real name ain't Doug Stone. It's Doug something else. I said, but Doug would come to the JV baseball games and go out to his truck and get a solo cup and come back. Lamb, you want something to drink? I do. But I'm pretty sure the state of Georgia would frown upon it.
Speaking of, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but we'll talk a little bit about the baseball season that year too, because if you didn't drink, that would have made you drink for sure. But yeah, Coach, you're right. I mean, listen, and I'll preface it, like, we had great kids and they worked hard, and I think maybe you were the one that used to say it, they just ain't very good at football, and at that time, we had just come off of, going to from single A to double A. And you remember, we didn't have the numbers like that. And
well, we're in the region with Calhoun, Pepperell.
Yep.
When they were really, really good. Because Steve told that story. Yeah, Daresville, they were good.
They were good.
I mean, everybody in the region. I mean, the only chances we really had legitimately were Armurchie, Model, and Coosa.
Yeah.
Everybody else, it was going to be probably try to get us to halftime without getting anybody dead.
Yeah. Well, Coach, like that year I was the interim, and I know you've heard this story, but our best running back, he broke his foot like game 1. So we have a Daresville at the house, and we've got one little receiver that he was fast, he could go, but he couldn't catch. And I can remember one day, and he might have been a senior that year. I don't know if he's here that year you were here. And I'm just wearing him out. Boy, if you catch that ball, well, his thumbs were like baby carrots. Like everything else was fine. He had itty bitty tiny thumbs. He's like, Coach, I can't my thumbs. And I just like, it was stuff like that. But so we had a quarterback. He was a good player, and his brothers were really good players. And that's all we had. And so we go in and play at Daresville. Nigel Curtis played on that team for a day. I mean, they had some guys. I think they were ranked 10th in the state at that time. And so I was just bound and determined we were going to find a way. Well, we got in there and did some stuff, traded tight end, get unbalanced. We'd run speed option out the back door, and I just kept telling Chase, no matter what, you keep the ball. Do not pitch it. So, we had them pretty confused there in the first half. Well, we were up 27-7, and there was about 10 seconds to go, and they're driving, and they throw a pass, it's incomplete, and whoever the clock operator for us that night should have been fired, but it stopped with like 0.2 seconds. Now, keep in mind, we're up by 20. I mean, we're just going to town. And we receive in the second half, and first drive of the second half, our quarterback starts cramping. Coach, he never plays again that night. And we get beat 56-27.
Ooh,
like that was a microcosm of just some of the crazy stuff, that first year. And went to Pepperell, scored on them first, and then proceeded to get blasted. Had Calhoun 10-0, got blasted. But we just didn't have the bodies. I mean, when people, because I think, didn't we go up to Sonorville that year?
Yeah.
That was the year Georgia came out in black jerseys.
Yeah, and Sonorville came out in their original jerseys. Then after warm-ups, they came out in a blackout. And
I knew then, I was like, boys, we're in trouble.
And they had a heap of youngins.
Yeah, I mean, every time we played somebody, they'd have 60, 70 kids. We rolled out with like 35.
Yeah.
And it was like a mass unit. I mean, we had the kid that had the cheetah thong in practice. You remember that kid?
Yes.
Like, he was the one that night we scrimmaged Villa Rica, and we were like, hey, it's time to go in. Nah, Coach, I'm good. Like, dude, are you for real? Yeah, I'm good, Coach. I don't want no part of that.
Our quarterback, bless his heart, was the best skill kid we had. Matt Betroni was a 10th grader, and we didn't have he had to play, and he was the best athlete. I mean, it wasn't even close. Bat Roney.
God, Bat Roney, the Batman. You talking about a kid that just
golly, he played his tail off. 11
of those guys, and that was night we thought he got killed against Rockmart.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Rockmart was on our region. Yeah.
Yeah, he got hit out of bounds, and I thought he was dead.
Yeah, up there at their place.
But he was the kid, Coach, like, I think it was the year after you were at Villa Rica.
He tore his quad during baseball season.
Yep. He was a good baseball player, too. But
Yes, he was.
We're playing somebody here, and I don't remember. We ended up winning the game, but like he was a kid. He was like, if we had to have him, we put him in at linebacker, but we didn't play him there because he was our quarterback. I look out there, that joker's in the game in the first quarter. And Coach, you can attest that he was 150 pounds soaking wet.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what? Who put him in there? Coach, I think he just ran out there. Are you freaking kidding me? So anyway, we end up winning the game.
Kid was a winner.
Well, it's about the second quarter. He comes over the sideline. He's over in the trainer bag, which, we didn't have a trainer. He's over there. I said, what are you doing? You gotta get ready. We're about to.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Coach, I just got a scratch, like a little scratch. I need to tape it up. I was bleeding. So he's over there taping it up. We win the game. Right after the game, his mama comes down there. She's mad as fire. And I'm like, what in the world? Did you see Matt's hand? I said, no, ma'am. He said he got a scratch on. Coach, he had to have 19 stitches. And he had just went over and taped himself up and finished. He still had 2.5 quarters to play. Taking snap. I mean, that's just the type of kid he was.
Yeah. He was a winner.
I'll never forget, his senior year. We were at the region, the all-region meeting. And by that time, we had moved in that region with Herd. And Timbo stood up and he said, well, look, we're going to create this Iron Man award for the region. He said, I'm nominating quarterback from Temple. And everybody in there said, no, that's the guy. Because he never came off the field at that point. And, if we'd have had 11 of him, there ain't no telling what we could do. But, man, we had some good kids. And then we had your son, Ricky Ticky Tavi.
I've told that story.
Yeah.
I've told everybody on earth that he was with you all day. Except when they let him go help do yard work around the school. And they'd have to bring him back because he'd be smoking.
Yeah, you'd have to. He couldn't roll out in a gin pop much, and then you never know what was going to happen.
And he would look at him like, "Well, what's the damn problem? They're smoking. I mean, the guys, these grown men, they're smoking while we're working. We're doing yard work. I mean, like, and what did he tell you he did?
All right, and for anybody that ain't never believed Lamb, this is the God's honest truth. Somehow or another, we got to talking about snakes.
Because you love to get these jokers stirred up.
Oh, I get them round up, man.
But I mean, you're with them all day, so you gotta entertain yourself.
Look, we had Uno tournament. Man, we did it all. I mean, we were hot after it. But yeah, Coach, this weekend I caught 2 snakes. I was like, golly, what kind of snakes? Cobras, king cobras, and you caught 2 king cobras in Temple. Yep. They was raised up. I just walked up behind them and grabbed them. And God's honest truth, nobody ever believed me and you would tell that story.
No.
But that joker caught 2 king cobras in Temple, Georgia. And not only that, but his other claim to fame, well, he had 2 other ones. The other one is he went out to play baseball. I don't know if you remember that, but he played hind catcher.
Yeah, he was the hind catcher.
He was the hind catcher, which, growing up in South Georgia, I never heard anybody talk about hind catchers, but he was the hind catcher. And then do you remember the night we played Rockmart, we're getting beat. We throw him in there. And you had him hot-footing before the snap.
Yeah, before the snap, but I'm going to tell this story. Because me and Steve told this story, because this is when I think you decided you were going into administration for real. I don't know if you remember, we're playing Armurchie, and they had their coach was old dude, old grizzled.
John, what was his name?
He talked like
I know.
that.
Yeah.
He came over to you and said, Coach, I got a boy over here. He's got a wooden leg, and he plays receiver. You remember that? Now, at the end of the game, I'm going to put him in. We ain't going to throw him the ball. Just don't kill him. So you were like, all right, whatever. So that's one of the games we won. So we're going to win. And as soon as we see them put that boy in, Steve yells, Ricky, get in. So Ricky Ticky gets out there and he gets press man locked down in his face. I
forgot about that.
And right before they snap, and the kid's just looking at Ricky Ticky like, what? Really, dude? What are you? I mean, you see, I got half of a fake leg. I mean, what are you doing? And so I'm in the press box dying. Everybody's dying. You don't think it's funny at all. And like right before the ball is snapped, daggum Steve goes, Ricky, hit me with them hot feet one time. He starts buzzing his feet and swiveling his hips. About that time, they snapped the ball. And the kid hobbles off and runs a slant or something. And of course, Steve, everybody's talking him up. Ricky's like, I got him on lock, coach. I got him on lock.
Got him locked.
And I heard you come on the headset and go, I'm about tired of you sons of bitch. I'm going into administration. I can't deal with y'all no more. And me and Steve told that story at the recruiting fair. Steve also told the story about us going to Pepperell and them having that cast iron dragon that blew, fire.
Oh, yeah.
He said, Coach, they scored so many times against us, I thought they were going to burn the damn woods.
Well, that's what I told Jeff Shiflett. Like, we were meeting out there before the game, and he goes, Coach, y'all need anything? I said, Coach, I don't, but y'all do. Jeff's one of the good ones. You know, he's like, what do you mean? I said, y'all probably going to need a little bit more propane for that dragon because there's a chance you run out.
They also had
set Pepperell on fire.
They also had the first. Now this was 2008, 9, 8.
Yeah, 7, 8.
Yeah, so they had the first male flag person.
Yeah,
I'd ever seen at Pepperell, and that caused our team some problems going in at halftime.
Well, it didn't help that Doc, who's now the preacher, was out there. He was beside himself.
Yeah, Jonathan Hanberry. He was. He had never, and that was.
You talking about from deep Louisiana?
Yeah, Lafourche Parish.
Yeah,
went to John
shook
Curtis.
Him to the core.
Went to Liberty University. Didn't want to talk about how we needed to stop them in the when they went trips. He didn't want to talk about that. He won't talk about.
No,
why.
all he had to talk about was the guy with the flag.
Yeah, that had makeup on.
that shook him to his core for sure.
So at least that wasn't at our, that wasn't one of ours. But we had Ricky Tiki Tavi, who was with you all day. So then we roll up into baseball season, and he's one of mine. And I got a Dominican kid who can play.
Yep.
Well, I've been told, you told me, you're like, look, man, this is a total rebuild. I mean,
it was.
It's a problem. The dude that was before you, they won. They went to the Final Four in Single A, and he knew it was coming, and he left. And, you ain't got no money. You ain't got no equipment. You ain't got nothing. And you were right. So we had a big Dominican kid, and he got in a fight, and I had a zero tolerance policy, and he had to go. He was older. You gone.
Yeah.
Had to send a message. So he's gone. I got 3 seniors. So that leaves me Brandon Johnson, left-handed kid.
Yep.
He was good, but he wasn't like he was just a baseball player. Too little to really play football, but good little high school baseball player. And then Matt Betroni was my really, he was the best baseball player we had, like far as all around. And he's my he's my number one pitcher. Well, he tears his quad. Well, that leaves me Brandon. The next best pitcher I had was Ricky Tiki Tavi.
And here's the thing for people that are listening, which Coach, there might be 2. I don't know. They may not be interested in this one, but the best part about Ricky Tiki Tavi is his name was not Ricky. Jungle Book there, Ricky. It wasn't a Jungle Book, Ricky Tikki Tavi, or was that?
It's its own story, but yeah, it's in the same universe.
Yeah. So, his name was DJ, and you gave him that name, Ricky Tikki Tavi. Also gave old buddy Kool-Aid. Remember old Kool-Aid?
Yeah.
He's the one you told him to tuck his teeth in that day at practice because he always had that Kool-Aid smile. And them kids, and from there on, and then we had Biscuit. We had Biscuit. Skeeter B. We had a Skeeter B.
Just great kids.
Awesome kid. And look, played hard. We just didn't have no bullets in the gun. And, the thing about that group, though, they did. They set the foundation. We were able to get that thing turned a little bit. And, we went, gosh, goes 1-9, 2-8, 4-6, 6-4. And then,
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. Victory Lane? Yeah, it's even better with Chumba by my side. Race to ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T&Cs. 21 plus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
Just with any other small school like that at the time, you're rebuilding.
Well, baseball, we went 0-26. Or 28. Yep. We went 0-20. I didn't even know. I'm from Evans, Georgia. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know that
didn't exist.
I didn't know you could lose all 28. And apparently in right field after one of the games one time, I told them, y'all are good kids. You just suck at baseball. And so the seniors got me a plaque and it said, we're good kids. We just suck at baseball. And I still have it. It's out right now. I can go put my hands on it right now. That's Jake awesome. Shirley is one of my favorite kids ever.
Jake's the girls' basketball coach here. He's,
really?
Still, yeah.
Golly, I love that kid.
Been in the playoffs, and one of my baseball stories, and nobody ever really believes it, but we were playing, I think it was Chattooga. And you remember we used to play over at the rec before they built the fields over here. And I was there. I was on duty, and I was the game manager. Well, I had to go take the money. Well, at the end of the first inning, we were down 9-0. And I came back to school, piddled around. Something was going on here. I don't remember if we had a track. I don't know. Well, I get back over there, and it's like the top of the second inning, and it's 27-0. Like they had kicked a couple field goals and scored some touchdowns. and I was just thinking, Lamb ain't gonna make it. He's gonna have a heart attack. He's gonna have a heart attack before the end of the game. And we were in that region with Calhoun and all them. Just the cupboard was bare. But I just think back to those times. And for those of y'all that don't know Coach as good as I do, I think one of my favorite things about Coach is we would go in at halftime, and the first 5 minutes, the first game, I'm like, where's Lamb? Where's Lamb? Well, he was out there smoking cigarettes on practice. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but me and you went and watched Noonan and Camden. You remember that? We went to playoff game over in Noonan.
Yes.
And
which they don't even look the same anymore. They got a new
No. We're driving over, and you had started on the patch. What was them things called? What was that patch called? I can't even remember.
Like Nicorette. Or
Nicoderm.
Nicoderm, yeah.
And
because I had to quit when Grayson came along.
Well, and I had talked to you not long after that, and I'm like, hey, Coach, you still on that patch? No, I had to get out. I had to get off of it. And I said, what in the world? It did me in when I saw a transformer out in the field. I said, what? You talking about like an electric? What are you talking about? Why was there a transformer? No, it was a car that turned into a robot. So I knew I needed to get off that thing.
No, that was Chantix. Yeah. That was Chantix.
Chantix. That's what it was.
It was Chantix.
Yeah, you straight up hit me with I saw a car turn into a robot out in the field when I was driving to work. I was like,
yeah, that was down in Cordele. Sure did. He was orange. Rachel said, that was a Kubota tractor, you jackass. I was like, looked like a robot to me. She's like, you're going to get off of that. But you know what? It made me quit smoking.
God, so good, man.
But those kids, man, they were
times.
such good kids. And, you know, Steve would make them sing the capitals.
Oh, yeah.
Like we're talking about how kids don't know anything these days. I can guarantee you, in Alt 7 at Temple High School, them jokers,
they knew the capitals.
They knew their capitals. They knew how to read.
They knew the Bill of Rights.
They knew the Bill of Rights. They knew their multiplications tables. And your crew knew how to have a good time. You had one in there that could draw.
Yeah. No, we had some good kids, man. Now, was Brooksy still around?
Yes, yes. So Steve told the story about how Brooksy was on the homecoming court. You remember that story?
Oh, my Lord. Dude. So, you know, John Brooks, I love that kid. He's got a YouTube channel where he just talks for like 3 hours about WWE.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, yeah, he does. One of my favorite kids of all time.
He was in your class, right?
Yeah, and everybody knew Brooksy, loved him. And so, by gosh, he gets nominated for homecoming court. And, you know, they had the whole deal that day where there was a pep rally out in the stadium, and they were going to announce the king. And so he's out there. And they were doing relay races. That was part of the deal. So they all got matched up with a girl. Well, the thing about Brooksy, he was about 5'3", 120 pounds. And so part of it is you had to carry the girl on your back, you know, like a, you know.
I was there, yeah, like a preacher carry.
Relay race. Yeah, preacher carry, relay race. So you remember this, the girl jumps on his back. He immediately collapses. She ends up carrying him. And so, like, he's into it. And if you ever met this kid, like, he's all in. The first year I had him come out and help, this is a side note. We're playing Calhoun. Coach Wild was the head coach then. And we were getting the bejesus beat out of us. And they score, and they're playing the fight song. Well, then they immediately go into another song. And Brooksy walks up to Coach Wild. He's like, "Coach, do you hear that?" And, you know, Marty was already on 10. "John, what do you want?" "Coach, they're playing Bad Leroy Brown." And Marty's like, "If you don't get his ass out of here," like I was like, that was another one of those times I thought I was fired. But so anyway, they line all the boys up, and they're getting ready to announce the king. And Steve is on the mic, and the whole freaking school is chanting. You remember this? Brooksy.
Yep.
And he's at the 50 just gassing them up.
Yes, sir. He's he's a little Hulkamaniac.
He knew it was in the bag. And Steve's got the mic, and he covers it up, and he goes, "Oh, hell." And I said, "What is it?" He goes, "And the homecoming king, Chase Weathers." Well, freaking John Brooks looks like somebody has stole $1 million from him. Immediately comes up to the press box. "I want a recount. I want a recount now." And so we told him, "Well, you know, you're the homecoming prince." So we invented something for Brooksy. But he was so mad, Coach, because there was a girl in my class that didn't vote. We told him he lost by a vote.
Oh, no.
And he held a grudge against that girl. He probably still holds a grudge against that girl.
It wasn't the one that had little T-Rex arms, was it?
No, no.
You're the one that introduced me to she has freakishly small hands. You used to say that. Like you would point out some kid walking down the hallway and you'd say, Lamb, go get that girl. She's the one with the freakishly small hands. I'm like, what? So my autistic butts walk around. "Show me your hands." No, those are relatively normal. Come here, girl. Well, I didn't know.
Thing about Brooks, everybody knew that kid, and so like I'd have him running errands and stuff for me. And there was a day he rolls up in Steve's class. He comes in there, and one of his buddies is sitting in there, And he just starts making it rain in the class. No reason. Steve's up there teaching. He's like, he just comes in, what's up, y'all? And just starts throwing ones out like he's in the club. Steve's just picking up the money like, man, get your butt out of here, man. I got so many John Brooks stories. They found a parakeet on campus, okay? Well, we took it down to the ag teacher. They put it in a cage. Well, Brooks, he went to ag, like he had ag for a period, and every kid got to take the parakeet home. So it was freezing, and Brooksy leaves, I guess, the parakeet down in the basement. Well, they didn't have heat in the basement. Mom calls me on Monday, and she goes, I got to buy y'all a parakeet. John left the parakeet down there. He froze to death over the weekend. like, it was just, I can't make it up, man. Like,
no,
the best kid of all time.
Well, and it just wasn't just him. I mean, the stories that came out of that place, and I was just there a year.
Yeah.
I tell people stuff, and it's the same thing with Villa Rica. It's just that area. And you tell people, and they look at you and they go, you're lying.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
You're making that up. And I'm like, dude, I'm not that imaginative.
No.
This dude told us he caught 2 cobras behind his house with his bare hands, and he was serious.
No, serious as a heart attack.
And his whole family would come watch him play every game.
Yeah.
All of them.
And that's the thing. All of them, like you said, great kids. They worked hard. Everybody supported the kids. And that's what I tell everybody now. Like, you know, we got some kids here that can play, and just sitting there going, man, I wish I had a couple of them bodies when I was here. But
so you leave there and go into administration at Villa Rica.
I went to Villa Rica as an AP. Was an AP for 4 years over there, and you know, loved it. You know, but again, Coach, I think when you and I were here, there was probably like 550 kids in the school. Well, there was probably about 580 when I left here. Roll up to Villa Rica, about 1,600 there at the time. So, you know, it was like, oh man, what have I done? You remember the old courtyard area outside the gym? It looked like a concert out there every morning. And I'm sitting there going, oh Lord, I've went from no kids to a bunch of kids. But, you know, I was there for 4 years, and then just so happens right before COVID, I get the principal's job. Like literally the week before COVID, I get named principal. Well, no, I didn't. I got named the week after COVID.
Congratulations.
And here I am. Yeah. And so Glenn Harding, he's now assistant superintendent here, and he was my principal over there. I worked for Glenn, one of the best people on earth, you know, taught me so much. But he basically said, all right, here's my keys. I'll be back for graduation. Well, here we are. Everybody's at home. It's my first principal's job. And I was like, okay, I don't know when graduation will be, but we'll see you at graduation. And we didn't graduate till almost July that year and rolled back in. But one thing I'll say about, you know, going over there and doing that was same type of thing, man. Just the community, kids, and same with here now is just they love Temple High School. They love Villa Rica High School. And the thing is still got some of that small town feel. Now, you know, obviously Villa Rica's blowing up right now because
it's only 7 miles down the road, people.
It's only 7 miles, but like when I left over there last year, we were right at 1,800, and came back over here. We opened the doors this year with about 770. So, you know, the growth is coming, but the good thing about Temple is they've got a pretty good little plan for the growth, whereas I think a lot of that in Villa Rica just kind of, you know, I mean, it just kind of blew up. And right there, you know, where the baseball field, had they built the baseball field yet when you were there? I can't remember.
No, because we still went. You still
That's
had
right.
to get out and go down the road to go play.
That's right. So back behind the stadium, they built baseball, softball, all that stuff, tennis courts. Well, Coach, this is no lie. In the baseball outfield, about 30 feet, they are building apartments. So where that Waffle House and all that stuff was off the interstate, that's all apartments.
Really?
So I was like, it's time for me to get out. So, but I was glad. I mean, I was here for 14 years and, just glad to be back over here. And I've just been blessed in my career. But, you and I were talking a little bit before, or you said it, coaches that go in administration. And I was lucky at Villa Rica. We had 5 administrators. All 5 of us had been head coaches. I'm back here. There's 3 of us. All 3 have been head coaches in sports. And I think that's a unique perspective, just like we talked about before, just being able to connect with kids and teachers. And I think coaching gives you a unique perspective on that. And if there's any young coaches out there listening, you probably already tuned out by now, and that's okay. But if you are, I tell them all the time, chase administrators, don't chase jobs. And coach, this. Nowadays, there's about 5 to 6 teams in every class that's got a chance to be playing late into December.
Oh yeah, and we know,
and you know who
right
they
now.
are. You know who they are, and at some point we got to get back to, in this business, it's okay to be somewhere 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you're churning out good kids and you're doing it the right way. But what has happened over the last, 10 years is everybody's recruiting each other's kids. GHSA can't police it. All the trainers that have popped up, trying to make money off kids. And we've got a bunch of kids that all they want to do is get on social media and say they have an offer. They don't even want to go play ball. So at some point, it needs to get back, just like you, me, some of these older folks. There was a reason why we play ball. We liked to play ball, and it did something that made us into better men. But we are so far away from that right now that it really gives me pause of what it'll look like 5, 10, 15 years from now.
And it's not just from that aspect. I think it's from the coaching aspect too. I mean, you can speak to this as an administrator now. You have people come in and interview them. I mean, I don't know how you do it. Like, I don't know your process. Like, do you let your head coaches, if they bring you somebody and they match a spot, you just, all right, good enough. You talk to them, and as long as no major red flags come up, you're good? Or do you actually talk to them?
Well, here's my thing. And if I hired Chris Lamb to be my head coach, and it could be baseball, it could be football, it could be whatever, you bring somebody to me, well, obviously I know that hopefully you've already vetted them. You know who they are. There's a connection there. Now, I do like to sit down and meet with them. I talk ball with them, just kind of talk to me about, what you're looking for, what's your goals, in the classroom, on the field, what do you want to be? But, we got to, you hire people to do the job and you get out of the way, right? But at the same time, you want to make sure you're getting good people. And it's not my job, I don't think, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm going about it the wrong way, but if Chris Lamb's my head football coach, it's not my job to go find you coaches, right? I mean, you bring me guys and say, hey, they want this one, this one, or this one. And I think there's got to be a level of trust in that for you to do your job. And not everybody does it that way, and that's okay. But to me, if you're my guy and you're bringing me people, there's a reason why you're bringing me people.
Well, and you've got other things you need to be worried about anyway.
Right.
I mean,
well, and coach, they know, and look, even when I was at Villa Rica, they know, like, if I'm bringing him somebody, they better be a good teacher too, and most coaches that are worth a crap are good teachers because it's essentially the same thing. And so,
I taught math at Temple for you.
Yeah, coach, I taught special ed, self-contained. So like that story of, I need this and like that doesn't resonate with me. We're going to make sure that you in the right spot with the right kids and doing the things that play to your strengths, So I don't know. It's just kind of gotten, and kind of what you were saying before. We also get guys like when we had a head football opening over at VR. Coach, I was getting resumes from people that had been coaching 6 months. How about go coordinate the daggum equipment room before you think about being a head coach or coordinator? So
at VR, who's won a state championship before.
Right. And I don't know. I just think at some point, there used to be those guys that were places 15, 20 years. And they never won.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
State championship. I mean, we all know those guys, but they were putting out good kids that turned into good men that made your community better. And they made your community better because of football or baseball or basketball, whatever that was. And they were tied to your school. Like, I check, see Appleton County, what they do every Friday night, because I love that school. But if I'd have been shopping around to go here or there, there's not that connection. It's almost like, pick and choose. I'm going to play here 1 year. I'm going to play here 1 year. I'm going to play here 1 year. And, what used to be, and you and I have been in this long enough, we always, the private schools have it better. They got a disadvantage. They got a bigger advantage than what we got. But now you got public schools stealing from public schools and recruiting kids and doing it through backdoor ways. And we're just eating our own, and we're making it hard for coaches to be successful. And we're making it hard for kids to be tied back into their community. And that's a bigger issue that, you nor I will ever solve, but that's just my viewpoint on it.
So what have you noticed from an administrative standpoint? Other than that, what else have you seen that's changed that makes you think, as far as the coaching aspect goes, the quality of, or the mindset of coaches, is it the same?
Well,
is it different, or do you
I
not
think
really
it's
think
different.
about it?
No, I think there is a difference, and I think it goes back to just as much as kids are looking for the next best thing, coaches are too. And I get that. I mean, whether it's, finances, or I got a chance to win here, or but what has happened is coaches almost have to be that way, because it's that NFL mentality that went down to college mentality is now at high schools, and that, well, if he ain't won a region championship or a state championship in his first 3 years, he got to go. And a lot of that is the bleacher creatures, we would be way better if John Q was our coach, or if this person was our coach, and we're not letting people do the job that they need to. It ain't about making the kids better. It ain't about putting out good humans, even in the communities. It's about whether I can go up to the school and buy a shirt that says, Public High School 41, played in the Georgia Dome, December, whatever. There's more to that. We're not allowing people to settle and put roots down and do the things that they need to do to make our communities better. And I don't know if you feel the same way, but there is a lot of pressure on these coaches to win and win big right now and do this. And again, in my opinion, we've gotten so far away from what high school athletics used to be about. Not to say that I didn't want to win, but I also knew that people poured into me when I was that age and made me better as a person. Men poured into me and made me better as a person. Whereas now we're putting so much pressure on these coaches that I think sometimes that gets pushed to the side and it's more focused on, we got to win now, and then I got to go get the next best job, if that makes sense.
Oh, no, I agree 1,000%. And I mean, running off coaches because they won't bend the knee and play nice or,
right.
Whatever.
Or morale's low.
Yeah, low morale. That was stuff like that. You tick off the wrong one. I'd still be the head baseball coach in Hawkinsville if I wouldn't have upset the wrong daddy.
Right.
But I won't bend the knee. And I didn't do nothing. I didn't put my hand, I did nothing in any other universe, in any other profession. Was I not, around exemplary?
Right.
But in this, it's just the way it is. It's just the nature of the beast. And I ain't mad about it. It's just the way it is.
No, I mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is. And if you don't have the administrative support to look at that parent and go, what you need to do is get in your car and go home because we ain't doing nothing.
Right.
Or to get your youngin' and take them somewhere else because we're not going to sacrifice what's good for 35 for your one. Or what's good for 220 for your one, or what's good for 1,600 for your one. But society's gotten to where that's what we're doing. We're doing it in the classroom too. Hey, we're going to let this one jackass sit in here and disrupt everything. To hell with these other 25 kids and their education, because this kid, whatever,
Well, we're way too me-based in our society.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Everything's about me and how does it make me feel?
Right.
Whereas there used to be value in being part of a team.
Us.
And us, us against whoever, us against this. And I don't want people to misconstrue what I'm saying. I mean, I want our teams to be successful. I want our teams to win. I want our teams to perform. But if we're doing those things and not setting up our kids to be better humans by holding them accountable, setting expectations, meeting, having standards that they have to meet, we're missing the boat. And that is a long-term recipe for disaster, not just for your school, not just for your program, not just for your community, but our society. And I think we've gotten so many of these keyboard warriors now that think they know what's best for the school, what's best for, the convenience store down the street, what's best for what the city is doing, what the board is doing, what the hospital is doing, but none of them are contributing to any of those things. Right. It's easy to sit back and make comments and hide behind a screen. And I think social media will probably be the downfall of all of it, because that's all it is people, trying to gas other people up and taking shots at people. And I don't know.
And the people in positions of leadership not being strong enough to stand up to them.
Yeah. I learned, and the thing, Coach, about it is I learned early on when I made that transition, and I wish I would have been better at this when I was coaching, is I just don't take any of it personal. And I tell my teachers all the time, kids are going to act up, parents are going to say this, but just don't take it personal. Like, let it roll off of you. And on the flip side, you got the parents that are involved, you got the great kids, you got the really good teammates. So it's about finding the positives, focusing on the positives, not focusing on so much of what something that we'll never fix. No. Right? I mean, we can't. I mean, it's like if somebody put an engine in front of me right now and said, you got 10 days to break it down and build it and make it run. I can't focus on that because it'll never get done. I can't do it. All right? I can't do that. But I'm going to focus on things that I can control. And I think, like I said before, we've just gotten so far away from what high school athletics is supposed to be about. And, you got guys that eat dinner with each other and coach against each other on Tuesday. They're trying to pillage each other's rosters. And this used to be a fraternity in this business. And I think something that upsets me to no end is I see that fading also. If you were a coach and there was a level of respect between coaches, you might not like each other. All right. I mean, we've all had those folks, but there was a level of respect, and it is a fraternity of people. So, we were all kind of in the same boat, and that don't mean we didn't want to beat each other's faces in on Fridays. But to have people calling kids from other schools, I mean, it's just so messy, and I can't fix it.
No, you're right, and all we can do is point it out and hope that the group behind us can get it, turn some kind of way or figure out some kind of way to, or it's going to be, and it's not, gloom and doom, nothing like that. It's just the reality is it's not sustainable.
No,
they talk about how the current college football, NIL, all of that stuff, it's not sustainable. Well, if they think that's not sustainable, why did they get a load of this?
Well,
because we don't even have enough people to put in the classrooms.
No.
To teach, much less coach, because those younger cats, they're not like we were. They will quit and go do something else.
Yeah. And you're already seeing it. And, I was having a conversation with a guy who was a retired administrator, and he coached for a long time. He said probably one of the greatest things, when they were talking about the NIL in Georgia, he said, how would you like to be the baseball coach that's got the second baseman that's an average player that is making more money than you are coaching baseball? Because his uncle runs a concrete company, or his daddy does this, or, and that just puts things in perspective too. And look, I understand, not every kid in high school is going to make a ton of NIL money. I get that. But coach, at no time in my high school career did I say, man, I wish I was making money doing this.
Yeah. I should be getting paid for this because I'm putting butts in them stands.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
now,
people in Baxley were going to the games because Baxley was playing.
Yeah. Well, and Strick and I used to joke about this all the time. Now, there was a lot of times because he played at Clinch County, and you know how in South Georgia summers, everybody on the team was like, we ain't coming back tomorrow. We done with this.
Okay.
Ain't none of us coming back. It's too hot. They killing us. But nobody ever said, you know what would be really cool? If somebody paid me to play high school. And and look, maybe I'm just old now. And you get those people to argue, well, they're bringing in money. They're doing, well, guess what, Jack? They're going to play football at Temple High School 50 years from now. Yeah. Whether we have one kid with NIL or zero kids with NIL. So, that whole mindset of, well, they need to be earning because they're doing all this. Well, then maybe they need to go get a job, because maybe this ain't what this is set up for.
Yeah, this should.
And there's going to be a lot of people that disagree with the way you and I believe on that.
Oh, and that's fine. That's okay. They don't have to agree, and that's okay. No. That's the other thing and where we're different. It's okay for us to not agree.
Yeah.
It's healthy.
Well, you and I may not agree, but guess what? We still going to cut up and be buddies. But
it's okay.
We can't even do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just, everything's got to be a division, dividing people and stirring people up, and, oh, you hurt my feelings and you can't say that. And dude, I don't have enough time to get offended. I got other more important things to worry about than whether or not getting butthurt about whatever. A tweet that I put on there that may or may not have been mildly inappropriate or, offensive, or, I almost didn't get hired because of my my Wizard of Oz tweet.
Well,
I don't know if you read my Wizard of Oz tweet.
I did.
And I was like, well, I mean, I don't see what's wrong with that. Only cuss word I said was ass and damn.
Yeah.
And for those of y'all out there that never read the tweet, here's what it said. Kids these days, it's a lot like the Wizard of Oz. Most of them ain't got no brains, they ain't got no heart, they ain't got no courage, and they really just want to go home. They like the Wizard of Oz. And if you remember in the Wizard of Oz, the only one that he had damn ass about him was the dog, Toto. We need some more dogs. We need some more Totos.
Who's that guy? Guy from Coastal. We need more dogs.
Yeah.
We don't need cats.
Yeah, we don't need, we just need some more Totos, because that's how a lot of these kids are. They don't have any heart. They don't have any brains. They don't have any courage. And all they really want to do is go home. Well, it's our job as administrators and teachers and coaches to teach them how to have heart and brains and courage. And when things don't go their way, how to overcome that. But anyway, we could make this
I was giggling because when you said, talking about hurting my feelings, I could just imagine you telling Topper that he hurt your feelings.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Topper's my dad. That ain't nothing. This old boy I know.
That ain't nothing. Let me tell you about the time I saw that guy. He didn't have a foot, and he won the 100-meter race. Dad, all I said was the guy, he rolled his ankle. That ain't nothing.
Yeah, they're talking about moving down here.
That's awesome.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's good times.
I don't think he's not all the way in on it. My mom is, but he's 6.5 knee replacement, so they've tabled the discussion till after that. So
it'll probably be the most intensive knee replacement to man.
I hope so.
Don't you think?
Well, for him, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. He's pretty good. He's pretty good about, he has a very high pain tolerance. The fact that he hasn't had it yet is, I can't believe he hasn't had it done by now, but he's still working. He's retired, but he works at a hospital, and he's he's to pick you up in the golf cart and drive you up to he's a valet parker. And he'll come get you in the golf cart. Because, he likes people. He likes, being around.
That's a pretty
people.
good gig, though.
Yeah, and he gets paid $15 an hour or something, and he works straight, day shift, and so it gets him out of the house, so he doesn't have to contend with my mama. But anyway, that's what they got going on. I thought you'd find that wonderful.
Awesome.
They're like, yeah, we might. My mom was like, yeah, we might look down there. They got some patio homes in that around the corner from y'all. I'm like, how about Perry? That's at least 20 minutes down the road.
What about McCray? McCray's great.
They got a little Statue of Liberty.
They do have the Statue of Liberty down there.
Got a nice little golf course.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to see
Very
Rhett
clean.
and Ronnie P. in about 2 weeks when they come for the GACA Lee Murray golf tournament.
Well, I want to put this out into the stratosphere, all right, because
I'm having Ronnie P. on here.
Well, that will be phenomenal. I'll probably listen to that multiple times. But just for anybody that used to work the GAC down on, Jekyll down there was a golf cart that had the roof ripped off of it that somebody I'm not going to name, but he coaches at Rockmart, gave them my name, and I wasn't even there. All right. So if anybody's listening, it was not me. It was a guy that looks like a Sasquatch that coaches at Rockmart, and I'll leave it to that. Returned the cart with no roof, and then told him it was me. So I just figured I'd put that out in the universe for anybody that likes to know.
I wonder if his name rhymes with Brett Carson's.
Very close.
Close?
Very close. Yeah. Very close.
I don't know. That sounds like something he would do.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, I sure do appreciate you coming on tonight. We've been trying to get together for the past few weeks, with you being a principal and me being me. It's been kind of hit and miss, but both been on spring break and finally got it together. And I sure do appreciate you coming on, and I'd love to have you on again if we could.
Shoot, Coach, we can just sit and shoot the breeze for hours, that's for sure. And you know how I feel about you, and I just appreciate you. And I say this with all sincerity, just what you do for coaches, and that does not go unnoticed. And you are turning into one of the old heads. That's crazy now, isn't it? That we're getting up in that age that we're not the young bucks anymore, for sure. But everybody knows who you are and what you do for coaches, and this is a prime example. Just getting people on and talking about profession. So I just always enjoy talking with you. I miss seeing you, but I appreciate what you're doing.
Well, I sure do appreciate it.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.